Hi, guys.
Hi, folks. Just sorting out Facebook.
Let's just make sure we've got thing here.
Give me a wee second, folks. Okay, that's Facebook on board. We'll count a minutes to let them get through the door.
Okay.
And just to let you know, folks, this morning, £250 of your money went out to the Dalbeattie Food Bank in the Borders.
Mm-hmm.
And this afternoon at some point, Alison over at the South Leith Parish Church Food Bank will be contacting me via email.
Yeah, you remember that was Paul.
Paul Dickinson, as promised.
Yeah.
As promised to Paul Dickinson.
Yeah.
So it's all in hand. And by the end of today, hopefully we'll have £250 over to South Leith Parish Church Food Bank as well.
Good.
Okay, so that's your money at work, folks. Well done to every single one of you for your contributions. And Michelle McRoberts, who runs the Dalbeattie Community Initiative, which runs the food bank there, asked me to thank you all. Very interesting lady. When I told her that we did a programme on YouTube, she was a bit concerned that we wanted to do poverty porn and come away down there and photograph people and film people using the food bank. And I made it quite clear to her, no, we don't do that sort of thing. We certainly will not be doing that. We don't do poverty porn.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, David, we're up there 100 marks, so we better get this broadcast underway. It's the 2 Davies, 1st to the 7th, 2024. And Dexter has stuck in the first donation of the day. Video game controller evolves into mushroom version of itself under the word LVL. That'll be a super sticker. Thank you, Dexter. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
It's much appreciated. Okay, so as I say, we're getting your money out the door, folks. You're doing great work. Thank you. Now, item number 1 today is quite an important one. I'll read out what I've got here, David, and then we'll delve into it. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Voter manipulation and potential vote rigging via the postal and proxy voting systems here in Scotland. This comes on Friday, 6 days out from the election, when we are told that there's problems in the printing of and the posting out of postal vote packs in Scotland, and of course the issuing of proxy certificates to allow people to get their proxy vote. You'll be aware of that, David, because you haven't got yours. Leslie's trying to sort it out now.
That's right. I mean, it was last Tuesday. It was handed in. Don't forget, I had to wait until I got the physios to ask one of my supporters, right? So you've got to have a reason for doing a proxy vote. You must have a reason for it. So therefore, you have to have a supporter, and your support tends to be the nurse that you're or the physio you're actually dealing under, and they sign for it. They actually sign on the form. The form went in the first possible day for us, which was the Tuesday. Leslie took it down to the office herself, and so that's it now. We're waiting on getting the pack back through, but you know, you figure on, you know, my goodness me, where are we? Monday the 1st. It's the 4th it takes place. Yeah.
Thanks, Andy Scott Bryan. Anyway, First Minister John Swinney weighs into the debacle and says voters will be disenfranchised. He says there will be a public inquiry into the debacle. Now, David, I looked at that thing when the judge-led thing where we were pissing about there before we came on.
Yeah.
And all he said was public inquiry, no judge-led. This would need to be a judge-led like public inquiry.
Yes, of course it would.
Because we're talking about voter manipulation, voter
you have to, for the people out there that don't understand, don't get this, right? The legalese, not that I don't half the time, right? But a judge-led inquiry means it's got teeth, means that he could, if he wanted to, put an order in, the vote had to take place again. Can you imagine? We've never had such a thing happen in our lives. But you know, a judge could order such a thing. And my goodness me, can you imagine running the general election, or the Scottish part of the general election in Scotland again? I can't see it myself. But the reason I can't see it is because it's never happened before.
Well, as I say, if there's going to be a public inquiry into this could be voter manipulation and voter fraud. Deliberate manipulation of the voting system by the government, because this is a UK-wide election, and the Electoral Commission is now part of the government. They took it into government.
Yeah.
Super chat, Donkey my cracker, £20 no Scottish Green MPs on Friday. I bet you're right, Duncan. Sorry, I've got ready with my donation and all.
The one thing I'm going to say about this thing with the Electoral Commission, as far as I'm concerned, the Electoral Commission has always been part of the British establishment.
Yes, but now it's part of the government.
Yeah.
And it's a government department, and the only place that seems to be experiencing these problems is Scotland. And as we know, they're trying to push a narrative in Scotland and crush the SNP in Scotland. Now, David, as you know, political parties, the big ones, especially the ones that can afford it, like the SNP, Labour and the Tories, they have huge maps on how constituencies vote as they canvass.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Labour Tory local authority who's supposed to get these electoral packs out, and I know roughly which way each of these packs are going to vote, it wouldn't be hard to see that the packs that they make it out go to the right places.
And all you do is, at the end of it, you go, look, we didn't manage to get these out. It was just timing more than anything else. That's the excuse. You know what I mean? What can I say? What can anybody say?
Tells me it's starting that it's also being recognised in other parts of the UK now. I guess it's just Scottish voters were quick out the block saying, "Where's my fucking vote?"
Yeah.
So Electoral Watchdog warns of pressure on UK postal vote system. Well, as I say, 14 council areas here in Scotland.
David, I think it's important from Mark Leslie. He's actually put down from Fife Council, and it's important we actually read this one out. From Fife Council, your postal pack should arrive in time to vote. We have no reason to believe otherwise. The national system has obviously been very busy, but it's likely most outstanding packs will arrive today if you registered for a postal vote before the deadline. Oh, bloody hell, it's David, I've got no way I can see down there. Can you
the deadline of June 19th, the deadline was the 18th of June at 23:59, okay?
Yeah.
And still haven't received it in the mail on Monday. Then you've the email postals at fife.gov.uk. All right, now, David, the BBC are telling people to contact their councils today. Councils are starting to set up alternative methods for people to vote. You know, like Edinburgh at the weekend had the town hall open for people to get down and get new packs.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying to you about Leslie having to contact the council today. Because a lot of people are going to be disenfranchised in this election, David. And that is not on. The count shouldn't start until everybody's postal vote is in.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. You know, or people that have requested a proxy vote until they've got the pack in front of the person that's going to go up and vote for them.
Yes, as I say, now, they shouldn't start the count until everybody who's been disenfranchised has had a chance to vote.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works in our system. At 10 o'clock on Thursday night, if the vote's not arrived, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Now, as I say, this is a big problem, and it appears it is spreading. But it was flagged up here in Scotland on Friday across 14 council areas.
And if you've got somebody like John Swinney that's starting to talk about a full judge-led...
no, you should talk about public inquiry. You and I are talking about judge-led one.
All right, he's talking about a public inquiry. I think if he's talking about a public inquiry, then really that means that he knows about it and he's wanting to.
Know about it. All the
Yeah,
political leaders here, except for the Tories, seem to be concerned about it. Even Anna
yeah,
Sarwar says one person disenfranchised is too much.
yeah,
Ed Davey of the Lib Dems has said, "Oh, hold the horses here, what's going on?" Starmer's no said bugger all. And
yeah.
Sunak will get to item number 6.
Aye.
But this could well, as I say, this isn't this. I mean, as John said, this could affect marginal seats,
Yeah.
depending on
Correct.
who didn't get the vote. Now, as John was saying, this could affect all parties in marginal seats. It could
Well,
be the SNP take one that Labour might have taken.
no,
It
yeah,
could be Labour take ones that the SNP might have taken.
you've got to talk about the one here, the MP here, Martin Dawson, Doherty, sorry, he's SNP.
Uh-huh.
And Labour, this is one of their target seats. Really, really, this is one they're going after hammer and tong. And the amount of literature that I've had of Labour has been unbelievable.
Well,
You
to be
know,
fair, the only thing I've really been getting bombarded with is the SNP stuff.
yeah, well, no, here it's Labour. Labour
Well, what I
are
will tell you is every time I
frantic.
click on a bloody video on YouTube, there's a
Yeah,
Labour advert before it comes on,
yeah. Well,
telling
it's
us
a
that
Labour.
Starmer's going to build 1.5 million homes. Folks, let's get this straight across the country. When he's talking about 1.5 million homes, he's talking about in England, and he's not talking about the government building them as social housing or anything like that. He's talking about changing planning laws to allow private developers to
Yes.
no coop more houses that the ordinary Joe can't afford.
Yeah,
So when he's
absolutely.
talking about, and then he's talking about expert teachers in the classrooms. What the fuck are the teachers in there they knew? They better be experts for fuck's sake. And then he's talking about mere coppers on the beat. Oh, this is going to be costed.
Yeah.
And nobody's telling us how they're going to plug this 19 billion, not just 18 apparently, it's a 19 billion pound black hole in public finances. And nobody's telling us how he's going to do it. But as I say, this here involved voter manipulation. Now, when it comes to Scotland, they didn't take into consideration, in fact, I'm sure they did, Jack told them, have it when the school holidays start, because most parents fuck off in the first 2 weeks of school holidays.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the parents who were fucking off in the first 2 weeks of school holidays didn't get their postal vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, of course, throw in the gerrymandering of the constituencies with the boundary changes and the introduction of voter ID, they've just wiped millions of people out of the franchise.
Yeah.
This is hardcore voter manipulation.
Yes, it is.
Absolute hardcore. This is as
Well,
bad as the propaganda we're getting, wartime propaganda we're getting here in Scotland about the SNP being shite and vote Labour.
yeah, the last time we saw voter manipulation on an industrial scale was the 2014 referendum.
No, in
But a lot,
2016 as well.
but a lot of people wouldn't believe it because, well, they wouldn't do that, would they? Yes. When
Oh,
there's a
okay,
lot
so
of money, when there's a lot of money involved, these men and women who will do anything for money and power, they will take away your voting rights. You know, they'll screw with the voting system.
aye,
And I don't know why people can't get that through their heads that people do go to prison for all kinds of reasons, right?
aye,
But
that's the official word for it, Mark.
sorry, what was that?
I'm saying that's the official word for it, gerrymandering.
Yeah, gerrymandered. Yes, that's right. Um, so, are we going to realise this time that actually something's going on? Well, by the
Well,
looks of
we've
it,
seen that voter manipulation in 2014. We've seen it again in 2016. We've seen it
yeah,
in 2019 with Bojo, and we're
yeah.
seeing it in an industrial society stage here in Scotland now.
Well, 2019, we actually had Jacob Rees-Mogg who spoke up and said it's a shame because it's affected a lot of our Tory voters. It was the old age people, the old age pension year, that sort of thing, you know.
That was the
And
2020. I think that was the council elections, wasn't it?
was it council? I
Yes,
can't remember.
2022, I
Right.
think it was. Yeah.
But you know, for Jacob Rees-Mogg to go, yeah, that we did kick ourselves in the backside over that one, right?
I know half. When the
I think
pensioners didn't have passports because they couldn't fly, they weren't allowed to drive anywhere because they were too old and unframe. So they didn't have bus passes because, let's face it, they were too old and infirm to get out in a bus anyway. So I mean,
now,
they've always put themselves right in the bahookie with that one.
David,
But this is a huge
that
story.
that thing you just read out there regarding Fife Council saying that they should all be out and all the rest of it, right? What if they're not? What if at the end of the day, thanks very much, Duncan. What if they're not? What if it so happens that it ends up where these proxy votes don't go out, the postal votes don't happen, and all the rest of it, right? What are you going to do about it? When it's
That's
done,
the
it's
question,
done.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get a wee bit more of that when we get soon. Right, let's move on. Swanny Spanks BBC over poverty porn references to Scottish Government mitigating the worst excesses of Westminster.
Yeah.
Now, John tells Martin Geisler off after he referred to the measures to mitigate the worst of what's going on as giveaways, because he was quoting Sarwar, who was sitting in the chair on the Sunday Politics week before, saying, we don't want to give out handouts, we want to get people into work. And John was
That's a
having
bit.
done it.
That's a bit like saying to somebody, "Why are you living in poverty? Why don't you go and get yourself a high-paying job?" That's just blooming stupid. That says to me a lot about the thinking processes of fucking Sarwar when he could come away with a nonsense like that,
All right,
right?
Jordan.
It's not everybody that can get a well-paying job.
But no,
And that's,
Swanny's point was this calling of handouts and giveaways
yeah,
when we're
just a,
mitigating against the worst excesses of the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers. And that was an interesting wee story that I was telling you earlier on history
yeah,
with that, David.
with the yeah, David, just for the sake of it, if you can compress it a bit, tell them that wee bit of history about the thieves and carpetbaggers. Go for it.
Okay, folks, I don't know if you know this, but the term carpetbagger refers to, in electoral terms, it refers to somebody from out with an area being parachuted into a safe seat to ensure that they maintain their place in the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers. So a carpetbagger was in a now the term first comes to political prominence here in Scotland in the late 1800s, early 1900s with the Young Scots. Now, if you don't understand, if you don't know who the Young Scots are, look them up. Okay. And back then there was no real Labour Party to talk about, so they were the left wing of the Liberal Party at the time, and they would go after a carpetbagger if he wasn't in tune with the local people on policy. And if he was in tune with them, then they would sometimes support the carpetbagger. But they were called extreme nationalists because of their antics, you know. And of course, eventually the Young Scots became part of Keir Hardie and John McLean's Labour Party, you know. So there's a wee bit of political history for you guys. All right, you maybe know and own this stuff, but as you know, I'm a fucking geek, so I know it. Right, let's move on. Where were we? Aye, John telling off Martin Geisler. Right. Wow, thank you very much, Julian. Hey, Julie.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Julie.
Thank you very much. You've all been dead generous. You know, there's over £654 sitting in the YouTube pot waiting to be handed out to us, David.
Yeah.
As I say, once we get it, it'll be straight out the door, folks. We're back on track now that
I
David's out.
take it over the weekend. You would have looked in the YouTube studio, but
Yes,
see
it was
what's
updated.
in the pot.
It
Yeah.
was updated by £300 odd, David.
Yeah.
£400 actually. Because remember, they take the slice off it and show us what we're actually getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so John has a go at Martin and says, hey, I'm not having this. Our child payment with sister programme of free school meals is keeping people out of poverty. It's stopping children from starving.
Yeah.
These are the handouts These are bloody well necessary because
Yeah.
people in England are going bloody hungry without this stuff.
And we've got
But
people like Sarwar that that people in Scotland are listening to and should not be listening to.
he
He's a
starts to
wee
say, workforce for fuck's sake, what are you
no,
paying the minimum
yeah,
wage for the decent wage?
seriously. See, when he comes away with stuff like that, he shows what a wee arsehole he actually is.
But
Because
handout, give him his. We're trying to stop children from being fucking starved here.
that's
Oh,
right,
Christ, Barbara, that's very, very true.
Barbara. Thank you. I've got this image of the typewriter and the bit of paper getting flung away, and this
Telling you that's her sister,
£50
your
note coming
pal. Anyway, John's having none of it, and he gets
in.
battered right into
Thanks,
Martin
Barbara.
Chrysler. Hey, how dare you use such terms? They're no handouts, they're helps for
Yes.
people. That's mitigating the worst of what's going on down that road. But to call them handouts, no, John was having none of it. He really
Yeah,
gave guys a spanking out of it.
you see, guys like it's not as if guys like is a Tory or he's pro SNP. Guys like he just goes the way that he needs to in terms of getting something out of the politician he's talking to. So Geisler is not helpful in any way whatsoever.
No. Now, Andrew in the super chat says, can you all share Katie Loudon's post to young folks, please? She's the only one who can kick shanks out of Hamilton and Rutherglen, whatever the constituency is again.
Thanks, Ange.
Thanks, Ange. Now, as I say, 27 nonny, and it is about time people stood up to the BBC and the nonsense. This give-outs. No give-outs, we're trying to stop worrying people from starving. It's a bit like you guys there with your supercharge, trying to help the people who are starving, you know. Right, let's move on, David, because we've got a lot to get through.
Yes, aye, yeah.
Alfie, that's a bit long for us to read on the hop. We'll get back to reading it.
Yeah.
Right. Tories, this one's funny as fuck. Tories bring in Theresa May to bolster Tory campaign hopefuls in Aberdeenshire and Perth. Now, David, the reason why they're bringing in Theresa May is their stated reason is because she was strong enough to stand up to Nicola Sturgeon and say no to a second referendum.
No,
and they think she really gets Scotland. You know? So they think she really gets Scotland. But this is pure comedy gold.
David, she's the same as all the other Conservatives that came to Scotland, right? What happens is, I mean, the last one, Rishi Sunak, he arrived in a helicopter, right? And he stood there talking to some guy. There was a photograph taken of him talking to some guy, and then he jumped back in the helicopter headed for Northern Ireland, right? Well, the same has happened all the way through. Theresa May ended up in a situation where she was in a room with, I think, about 40 or 50 people from the local Tory club, I would imagine. And it's like she stood there, gave her bit, and then she went to Glasgow Airport and headed off. And it's like that. She gets Scotland. No, she doesn't.
But what's interesting is the Tories actually think bringing in a woman who started the hostile environment against
Thank you very much, Lewis.
Now, do you actually think the woman that started the hostile environment and started all this culture wars on ethnicity is the right person to bring into Scotland?
Yeah.
Wow.
In actual fact, can I give you? Here's the bit of dirt on Theresa May that everybody should know about, right? You know that we've got a GCHQ whereby they can listen to people's phones and things like that, right? Okay. Well, Theresa May was asked to provide the £12 billion for the GCHQ to buy the latest bit of software off of the Americans that would give them the ability to look into people's phones, tap into their computers and all the rest of it, right? Okay. And she went, okay, fair enough. She did it. She got the 12 billion for it, right? And what she asked for was some way to give her husband complete anonymity, right? And what happened was that before this, you could look into Theresa May and her husband, and you could see that her husband had done loads in terms of he got government contracts, yeah,
Aye, G4S of
yeah,
business
and
involvement.
it was on the web, and he was named. He was actually named on those bits of information, and you could
Aye,
look it up and all the rest of it, right? See the moment that she got that through for the
he
GCHQ,
disappeared after the web
he
altogether.
disappeared. He literally, absolutely disappeared off of the web. There
Anyway, I
you
just thought it
go.
was quite funny that they brought her into campaign. And
Yeah.
apparently she was out knocking doors for quite a few years in both areas.
Aye.
Huh? That'd
The
be
only
quite
thing.
funny. I imagine. I'd love to be one of the person's doors she tell.
Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. Very nice to meet you, HP. And
No, no.
yeah,
I can assure you, it would have been a set-up door. It'd have been the only Tory in the street. That's it.
never
Seriously.
likely.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to campaigning here in Scotland. And Labour Big Beast, one brain cell Dame Jackie Bailey,
Oh,
tries
yeah.
to tell Scots her bosses in London may consider a bespoke immigration stroke visa scheme for Scotland and its specific needs.
Yeah.
When everybody stopped laughing, including First Minister John Swinney, who said, I heard it, one brain cell Bailey looked like an idiot. Why is that? Because every time they wazzocks here in Scotland say something, him down the road overturns it. And this one's already been overturned before she even opened her cup, because this was part of Gordie Brown's UK reforming the union dossier that he got to Starmer, and Starmer fucked it straight in the shredder.
Yeah.
So
Do you,
the
do you,
idea that
do you,
Starmer's
do
going to allow a bespoke immigration system for Scotland,
Yeah, well,
nice.
do you actually see a pattern going ahead here, right? We're getting a similar thing with the Tories that we'll come on to later on, right? But we've got the Tories whereby
Afternoon,
the
Sir
stuff
Larry.
that's brought out with the Scottish Tories, effectively the Tories down the road in London are going, no, it's like we're going that direction. You've mentioned this, we're going that way. It's the same with Labour. What's happening is that Sarwar's coming out with stuff, Bailey's coming out with stuff, and it's like the ones down the road under Starmer are just saying, no, we're going this direction, we're going the other direction. And that seems to be the way it is. And it doesn't matter whether you vote Labour or Tory, you're fools if you do anyway, right? It doesn't matter if you vote Labour or Tory, you're not getting what the people in Scotland are giving you if you with that vote. You are getting what the people in London are giving you. And that is wrong. It's just wrong, wrong, wrong. Anyway, David, please carry on.
That's it. Bailey tells us that our bosses in London might give us a bespoke visa system. We already know they're not going.
Yeah.
But they did call her one brain cell Bailey for a reason. She'd only got one brain cell, and she borrowed that from Bouncy Boy Leonard, and he's been desperate to get it back ever since. You know?
Why do you call her one brain cell, David? Because she used to be a teacher at one point.
And
Can you imagine what the kids turned out like that she
listen,
taught?
you taught in your area, they're going to vote Labour. That says it all. You're all a bunch of fucking one brain cells out there. Ah, dearie. Let's move on. Alistair Jack and his up and coming peerage is being questioned by some of the other Tory big beasts. And this is down to the betting scandal, David.
Aye.
Right. Now, as we know, 5 Tory party members, and some of them were candidates for the general election.
Yeah.
They're under investigation along with a Weena coppers who got insider information off of thanks, John.
Oh, thanks very much, John. Peer
They
character.
get the inside information off a Coast Protection Unit, and they started betting on it on all cops. So the cops are being done with.
Pair character with lovey-dovey eyes blowing red hearts in the air.
I just put it
Ah.
up, mate. I'll put it back up. There we go. It's a super sticker reel, but in here we get a description if we don't see the sticker.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it would appear that now, we better get a wee bit more into this Alistair Jack carry on, shall we, David? A wee bit of context for the people. Boris Johnson, if Dominic Cummings wanted rid of him, so Boris Johnson offered him a knighthood to go, and Jack pointed out to Johnson that it would trigger a by-election and it wouldn't go well. The SNP would probably take the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's out, Sunak's in, and Jack doesn't want to work for Sunak, so he then threatens to walk away and call a by-election. So
why, David, can you maybe give us a bit of insight, if you know, why is it that Jack didn't want to work with Sunak?
I don't know, but anyway, Sunak bribed him, saying if you stay as an MP and don't trigger a by-election till the end of this, we'll give you a peerage, no just elevation to the House of Lords, we'll give you a life peer, we'll make you a Lord.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we're coming to the end here. Big beasts in the Tory party are starting to say, nah, maybe no. He's caught himself into this scandal here. It might not look good.
Yeah.
You know, so could be, as you said, David, they might be about to stick the sword in him.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, they might be about to get the dirty on him.
As far as that party's concerned, really, there's no honour in that party whatsoever. There's no sticking together, we've got your back, all that sort of nonsense.
There isn't honour amongst thieves.
It's every man for himself. And
there's no honour among thieves.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You know? And Alistair Jack, he was doing the dirty on Bojo. Then he was going to quit under Sunak.
Yeah.
And now the strike back comes, will he get his peerage?
Yeah.
Will he? That's to be seen.
No, he won't.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Sunak shows how little he cares about the votes of the Scots, as he dismisses concerns that some Scots may be disenfranchised.
As far as I'm concerned, he's the Prime Minister. He's still the man in charge. And his responsibility that my vote's sacrosanct. If he's not going to give us any sort of help regarding the manipulation of the postal votes and the proxy votes and all the rest of it, right? It's like there should be some kind of redress against him personally over that.
Anyway, David, when Sunak was confronted with the concerns of John Swinney, Ed Davey, and Anna Sauer and other political leaders across the spectrum, including the Green Party, when confronted with it, he couldn't even be bothered to answer himself. He put up a spokesperson for Number 10 who said, we're aware of some problems in the Electoral Commission with the postal voting system. We're working with the printers and the Royal Mail to get it out. Now, of course, as we know, this stuff used to be done with HMSO, but that all have been privatised now, David.
Oh, aye, yes, aye.
Whereas HMSO would once upon a time printed the ballot papers themselves, then the Electoral Commission will now be supervising which private companies get the commission to print ballot papers. You know, so in the past, we would have had HMSO have all this stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
But now we've got a private company of the post office and private printers doing these things.
Yeah, some baroness in the House of Lords will have said, I have a company that does printing. We could take that over, no problem. You know. So what happened is she'd end up with the money first. The money would come out, and that was probably given to her in January or whatever, whenever they were told when the general election was going to take place, right? Actually, and they just forgot to do the rest of it.
Well, you know, if HMSO was still around, even a snap election, 6 weeks they'd have had it organised. You know, But Her Majesty's stationery office, if it is still around, it'll be a shadow of what it used to be.
Yeah. Aye.
But that shows how much he cares. He just went, so what? Yeah, I'm not even talking to you people, but here's a spokesman. And he dismisses the idea of people being disenfranchised.
Well, we do know that he's got his seat is in Yorkshire, right? And it's like he won't even be there to hear the count. He'll be on an airplane for California.
Keep saying that, David, but I think he'll be here for the count. He's going to be here for the honour. Anyway, here's one for DJ. Right. DJ Marcy Moo says many Tory voters use postal votes. Tories should be shitting themselves. Well, that's the interesting thing about it is some postal votes are getting out. Some
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
A wee bit further back, one of the other participants here said that he'd been out asking his neighbours about it in Tenerife. How they go? Hi, Daily Blase. Nice to see you in the audience. Folks, check out Reagan Elite and Daily Blase's channels, Big Man Studios, yes. Maximilian Robespierre. A lot of these guys put out really good stuff. Also, and they're quite entertaining as well.
The thing is though, there are areas where there'll be Tory voters, no problem whatsoever. Their postal votes and their proxy votes will be out, no bother at all.
Aye.
Well and truly handled.
Helen Smith says SNP, Green and Plaid should challenge the results. I think they should and all, but they take all three of them together because they need the money.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that John said there were a public inquiry. Now they have to make it a judge-led one because it's going to be breaching the electoral law.
It's got to have teeth. It's it's pointless having an inquiry, a public inquiry. I mean, we can order right. Okay, I'm having an inquiry. It's going to take place at the XYZ pub down the road, right? We need something that's official. It's a judge-led inquiry. If this honestly does come about, whereby people like me I lose my vote. I consider my vote very, very important, right? Then the ridiculous thing about it is that if I'm left by the wayside because of that, that's no good, is it? As
I say, David, if just one person is disenfranchised, that's one too many. But we're looking at thousands, and it could be UK. Well, maybe hundreds of thousands UK wide here.
Absolutely, yes.
In which case, it's a bloody outrage. But his attitude to it was, who cares? It's only the job.
Yeah.
Right. This one's a cracker.
Yes.
Labour rule out compensation for WASPy women on BBC Radio 4's Today programme. Now, this was the other day when Jonathan Ashworth, Labour's Deputy Paymaster General, says that they budgeted for the blood scandal, where people they get bad blood products.
Yeah.
But they haven't budgeted for Windrush and they haven't budgeted for WASPy.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is we were both discussing before the show, WASPy happened under Labour's watch anyway.
Yes. They were the ones that they never informed the woman what was going to happen properly.
Yeah.
They're the ones, the judges in the court who ruled in the WASPy woman's favour said Labour didn't make it clear to women what was happening.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she was one of them, and okay, she's suffering with a particularly bad situation at the moment physically, but at the time I remember her talking about that. She said we weren't told. They were basically given the idea that if they paid the small stamp, they still got the full pension or the rest of it, right? And that's as far as that's concerned. When it didn't happen, that should have been when a department of the government stepped in and went, yeah, we realise that was wrong and you're going to get your full pension, right? Well, no. Labour decided that these people were just going to be left by the wayside.
But
disenfranchise seems to be a thread running through the whole of our show today, David.
Aye.
Yeah. So
the WASPy women have been disenfranchised as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, it appears that Labour aren't going to compensate them because they haven't budgeted for it. And they haven't budgeted for compensating. We were talking about Theresa May earlier, and you know, the hostile environment she created. They're not talking about, they haven't budgeted for compensating people for the Windrush scandal as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, what they're actually doing is they're hoping that more people keep on dying, right? You know, just look at it square in the face. Let's lay them on a field and bomb the field. How's about that, right? I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're hoping the longer they wait, the fewer people there is until eventually they have to give in and they'll go, yeah, all right, fine. What we'll do is we'll pay you like 10p this year, and then we'll pay you like 50p the year after that, and all the rest of it. It's ridiculous. It really is.
Well, as I say, it's outrageous. They started the scandal.
Yeah,
Now they're refusing to compensate the women for the scandal.
yeah,
And the deputy paymaster, who will be in the Treasury, is telling BBC Radio 4 Today's programme that, yep, if you were caught up in the bad blood scandal, you will get your compensation. The compensation package has been put in place for you. People so well budgeted for it. But if you're a waspy woman or somebody who was done, who was hard done to and had all the rights taken away from them with the Windrush thing, and some of them were actually deported, David.
yes. They were actually, yeah, that's right.
So
I've got to say,
tell them,
I've got to say, looking at Labour as a party, yeah, you know, talk about dishonourable. That's it. Dishonourable is a good word, right?
oh,
They
yeah,
are being they
dishonourable.
are being dishonourable, and therefore, how can anybody vote for such a blooming dishonourable bunch of shites? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's funny. The
sorry,
next one's funnier.
sorry for the French, but at the same
Yeah.
time, there you go.
Well, if
All
you think
right,
that's funny, the next one's even funnier.
yeah,
Sir Kidstarver says, beware of the far right.
yeah,
Beware of the right, says man who takes party to the
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's you couldn't make that up. You couldn't make it up, but he did say this, right? Yeah,
And he's worried that the Tories could still win this because of the loony fringe for the far right in the Tory party. His Kidstarver not been looking at the polls. I'll tell you what, though, with the carry on with reform, that 20% that they're taking might swing back to the Tories.
aye, there you go.
And then Kidstarver would have something to be scared of.
Aye,
Because between that 20% and the Tories 19%, they're 39% of the vote.
aye,
It'll be much closer than Kidstarver thinks it's going to be.
aye.
But imagine, stating to the press, beware of the far right. Wow. Wow.
Dear.
Man who takes party to right of centre says beware of going further, of those on the further right of the spectrum. Wow. Wow. And Lorraine King, who is a waspy woman, says she always knew she wasn't getting compensated by the buggers.
Yeah. Now the next one we've got is
Election debate of the week.
yeah, numpty of the week. Yes.
Aye.
Go on, David. I'll let you do this one. Go on. It's quite involved, so it's better if just one of us does it. On you go.
Wait a minute to get this one up, David.
Yeah.
Where are we?
So one about Aberdeen North and Moray.
Aye, I know.
Yeah. Right.
I'm looking for it. They keep updating the articles. So it moves it down the page. Anyway, their candidate in Aberdeen North
Yeah.
and Moray East,
Yeah.
Andrew. Wait a minute, get it up. Andy Brown.
Yeah.
Andrew Brown, Aberdeenshire candidate for
Labour.
Aberdeen North and Moray East.
Yeah.
He gets ditched by the Labour Party
Yeah.
for posting pro-Russian propaganda, where he
Yeah.
said Putin was he put up an RT. He'd been sharing RT articles about how Putin wasn't involved in the 2018 Novichok carry on down that road. So
But David, what's the real crux of this?
the real crux of this is this guy hasn't campaigned. He stood aside to allow Douglas Ross to take on Seamus Logan, who I interviewed and meet the candidate. Now Now, I've got a couple of contenders for this, but I don't know if they're going to have time to be able to do this. We're only 2 days out for an election or 3 days out for the election, you know.
Yeah.
But as I say, the real reason why he's EJ of the week is because he's stepped aside. He hasn't campaigned at all. And then on top of that, the idiot goes and gets himself drapped for the Labour Party. No for no canvassing, but for 10-year-old posts or 5 or 6-year-old posts on social media.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if any of you ever get the idea of, right, I'm gonna run for being an MP or whatever, right? Okay.
Shut down all your social media.
I would have a serious look at your social media right the way back and see what you've said, because if you end up in a situation where you're going for it and you've paid your deposit and all the rest of it, right? You might just lose it all because some bugger woman sits on their computer and has a look at all your stuff for the past and finds something that you said online.
So this guy was sharing a RT, it was actually broadcast at the time, saying that Putin wasn't involved in the Novichok scandal down, and what was the name of that cathedral city again?
Sorry, David?
The Novichok thing, where was it again? Salisbury.
Yeah, Salisbury, that's right.
The Salisbury poisoning. So the Labour Party have dumped him. This has come to light, but a few days out for the election, he was no get. He hadn't campaigned. It was 660 quid the Labour Party were throwing away. You know, so obviously he makes it to Egypt to the week because let's face it, he hasn't campaigned, and 4 days out he gets dumped. No, can't he beat that?
Yeah.
Dale McGrath, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dale.
Another super sticker. Per character sliding on the floor on his knees saying go. There you go. I'm sure the people on YouTube can actually see that happening right now.
Is this something to do with the England's chances in the European Championships? Possibly, is it? You know, no.
Yeah, they did well last night. They actually turned it 1-0 Slovakia lead and 1-2, not 2-1.
No, but the thing that gets me is the amount of people I've seen the TV saying that if they don't do well, then their manager, that's him, he's off. He's getting booted out.
Exactly. Southgate's been one of the better managers I've had.
It's blooming crazy. It really is. Yeah, the moment they're unhappy about the football team just weren't pushing as well as they should have done. Well, the guy that's in charge, he's getting booted out at the end of this. That's dreadful. You don't
Chris
think
says he's going to be president of Scotland one day. I probably will be a republic at some point in the future. Right, we guess we better, with time moving on, David, we better go on to the international news. Well, the big one this weekend is France swinging to the right.
Yeah.
Le Pen, party, taking 34% of the vote in the first round.
Madame Le Pen, she actually looks hard, doesn't she? But when you look at it, you know, it's like all these characters from the National Front and that sort of thing. They all do have that hard look to them, don't they? You know, so. Anyway.
Not really my area of politics, as you know, David. I tend to stay away from the right.
Yeah.
But I'm quite aware of what's going on in France, and it is a worry. Now,
Thank you, Mr.
David, he didn't have to call this election. Thanks very much.
He could have waited until 2027.
Our food bank one. David, why is it that our QR code isn't taking them to our bank details? It's taking them to the Ukraine food bank one.
Absolutely no idea whatsoever, because I certainly haven't changed that. Because you know fine well, I've not had the keys to open the studio. You can maybe have a look at that later on.
I will. Thanks very much for making us aware of that, Mr. E. I will have a look into that after
Thank you, Mr. E.
When I get in tonight. I should be back home for about 11. So
don't if that's the case, then don't donate via the QR code. Just use the super chat.
Aye, but we still have to look into that, David. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, that's right.
Because we put our own bank details and that, and our account number and that behind our QR code.
Yeah. I mean, see that sign that's above here? It says someone scanned the QR code.
Aye.
That only comes up when somebody's got as simple as that, you know. And I don't see it very often, you know.
No. But as I say, thanks for making us aware of that, Mr. Ian. Thanks very much for your kind
Thank you.
super chat.
You know, in all seriousness, right? If there's anything on this channel that you find that is wrong like that, right? Just contact us. You know, you know where we are. You know, fine. Well, you can get us on Facebook, you know, or whatever, right? So, or even leave a message on the one of the actual shows, because it shows up. We get an email saying someone commented on
Melanie, I hope you feel better soon, hen.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, okay. Bye now, hen. Sorry about that, folks. Melanie's a friend.
Right.
See,
Okay.
now we're all friends in the chat. Every one of yous. Right, now, moving on to the UK's shames itself on the international stage again.
Yeah.
And that is that UK government lawyers have intervened with the ICC to try and prevent international arrest warrants being issued for Netanyahu and the other one, what's his name? Gallant.
Yeah.
Gallant. Oh, Davies decided to scan the QR code and see what it says.
Yeah. I'm just having a look myself. Yeah, it is. That is
Aye,
it.
it's good to see. I dare see that. It's just come up. You're the 10th person to scan it.
Yeah, I'm saying the picture of Zelensky comes up as well. You
Aye,
know?
but we need to sort that, David.
Yeah. Sorry?
I'll need to sort that.
Yeah, definitely.
Need to sort that. And if one Angry Pagan's there, I seen your repost saying that you couldn't afford to put in a super chat, son. Don't.
Yeah.
It's always
You
great
can't,
to have you in the audience.
you can't afford it, don't do it.
We give
Yeah.
that money to Scottish food banks, and you live in England, son. So if
Yeah.
you want to donate to a food bank down that road, date to your aim. You know. All right. Now, let's get back to the story of the shame of this. The UK government on the 10th of July submits a petition to the International Criminal Court to prevent arrest warrants being issued for Netanyahu and his finance minister Gallant, Yoav Gallant.
You couldn't make it up, could you?
Aye, you could.
Yeah.
The UK government lawyers' claims are that the ICC have no jurisdiction because Israel's no signed up. Well, last time I looked, Russia wasn't signed up. Did they no issue an international arrest warrant for Putin?
Yeah.
So basically, all that's going to happen here is it's going to delay the inevitable.
Yeah.
Because their case doesn't stand up. But because the petitions went in, the petitions got to be heard.
Yeah.
But this is an international disgrace. This tells us all we need to know about that house of thieves and carpetbaggers.
Yeah.
And now you've got a history of going what a carpetbagger is politically, folks.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Now you know. But yeah, the final thing is the fighting intensifies in northern Gaza.
And a new report of the UN saying that the genocide's still going on and people are still starving to death.
Yeah. And you know, it's no use us asking for this to stop. It has to be done by one of the big players, and the biggest player of all is the Yanks. And you know,
and the Yanks,
Biden's certainly not going to do anything about it because he's got hard enough time finding his way to the blooming podium or finding his way back from the podium, right? So
anyway, we talk about the Americans. They've got Zelensky shiting himself.
Yeah,
because it could well be that Trump's going to win this.
Yeah,
criminal, whether he's been done or no, whether he's a convicted criminal or no. It appears that Trump might win this one, and this is giving Zelensky sleepless nights.
The thing that gets me is in America, Yeah, you've got a population of like, what is it, 350 million people, right? And they can't find decent people to actually run for, yeah, being president or whatever, right? It's crazy. It really, really is. And also the thing about needing money in order to run. If you don't have money, if you don't have big money, you can't run to be president or whatever. And I thought the whole idea was it was land of the free, all that sort of thing. You know, it was that, you know, anybody in America could end up as president of the United States, which is a load of shite.
Of course, it's shite.
You know, well, it's not shite providing you can get the money at the back here, which means that you are beholden to the person that puts the money behind you, right? Is that a good thing? No, of course it isn't.
I'm going to read out Ice Ninja's comments here. The UK have signed up to the ICC, so they should follow the rulings. Oh, yeah, they are, forgot they're criminals. Listen, what they've done is they made a petition to the ICC to say that the ICC doesn't have jurisdiction in this case. Now, a lot of bollocks, as I say, it's just going to hold it up. But Zelensky, he's pushing for more long range weapons. And of course, which long range weapons, David, as you and I know, are not for defensive purposes, they're attack weapons.
Yeah, they're meant to attack folk in the middle of Russia, right?
Right.
Getting firing missiles right across, right in the center of Moscow, right? And it's like, that is not what was wanted in the first place. What Zelensky was asking for was weapons so he could defend his people and actually stop the Russians from incurring or coming into Ukraine. And now it's a mission creep. The mission creep is, we want to destroy Russians in their beds.
Aye. Anyway, Huey, people who are scanning the QR code might well want to support Zelensky. We'll sort the QR code out
Yeah, well, I don't want the QR code directing you that way at all.
No,
It wouldn't have mattered if the QR code had gone any direction. That QR code was purely and simply should have been a donate for our channel, and that's the way it should have gone, so that we can give money to food banks in Scotland. So if it's sending money away to Ukraine or wherever, right? That's wrong. We want that changed.
so Larry, you're right. Wall Street or crack dealers avenue, as they call it, the last of what's left of the American dream.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Right, folks, we're on 58 minutes now. Hope you've enjoyed the show. There's plenty of watching, 223 watching live at the moment. Fantastic
Yeah.
audience figures. You've donated really well again today. So David and I will get to work and getting it out. I want to thank you all for tuning in such large numbers. Hit the like button, please, folks. Hit the subscribe button. We're nearing the 2,000. I think we're 108 away from it. We'd been there, but for some reason, after the campaign that David and I had, David had on Facebook and our groups, YouTube decided that, no, that happened too fast. So they took a few hundred of them away from us. So we'd already broke the 2,000, but we're trying to get back to it again, folks.
Yeah.
So please subscribe. And if you like what we do, share. Now, YouTube and Restream tell us that we're doing extremely well on reaching people. Restream tells us multi-platform wide because they can follow it for share to share to share. We're reaching about 250,000 people a month. And our YouTube channel is being watched by 20,500 individual viewers per month.
Yeah, I wonder if we're still at 112 countries worldwide. I would imagine we are. You know, because
probably. I don't think we've done anything to be censored on YouTube yet.
Yeah. However, the bump downwards on our subscribers, don't assume that you are subscribed to the channel. If you've done it before, go and check. Press the subscribe button if you see it, and see if you are subscribed. Because if you are subscribed, it'll tell you. Sorry,
Right.
you're already subscribed here. That's it. You know. But I think the donate button, the QR code, that's come from Restream.
Aye, probably I'll take it down.
Yeah.
Now, here's a shocking statistic for Sir Larry the Cat, who's in number 10, so he'll have these numbers. Homelessness in the UK and Britain is higher than in the US now. Ha!
Yeah.
We're managed to we're managed to rack up all these world-beaten figures, Sir Larry. Unfortunately, they're on the wrong fucking games.
Yeah.
When it comes to hunger, homelessness, Gross Britannia. Domination.
Hey, it's world beating. Eh? How's about that? World beating. Rishi Sunak can say, we've got more homeless people. How's about that? We've got more homeless people in the streets than any other part of the world. There you are. World first.
And folks, Young Reagan a Week's going live at 8 p.m. tonight. If you want to tune in to Young Reagan a Week channel, it's quite good. I will be there. I will be tuned in. I won't be commenting much because I'll be at work. But I might comment, but generally what happens is a predictive text bucks up whatever I'm trying to say when I'm typing at work, because I'm doing it on my phone. So, but I will be listening, and Young Reagan a Week, as I say, puts out some really good stuff.
Well, if you're out for the next few days, it's like you could have that with a few cans.
I buck with a few cans.
It's nothing to do with your predictive text. It's the fact you're going.
Aye, well, I'll be having a few tinnies. That's for sure in the next few days. And say, folks, that's it. Remember, election year. When you trot into that box on Thursday, if you have got a vote and you have a franchise, use it. Vote wisely.
And see if I don't get my vote, I'll be jumping up and down angry.
David, it takes people like you to make a bloody ruckus and all that sort of things like this out. So that if you don't get your vote, you and I will be making a ruckus.
Dreadful.
So, folks, let's say hit like, hit the share button, and we will be back to do it all again on election day at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Where we will know whether David got his franchise sorted out or not. Okay.
I'll tell you what. See if I don't get my vote. If I give you a phone call, can we get a few lads to get me in my wheelchair out the front so I can actually wheel my way up to the polling station? How's about that? Because I've still got my proper polling card.
Well, if you haven't got your proxy voting, David, I will come and help you get to the polling station if need be. Aye.
Excellent. Get it done.
Shuggy, if Davies no get his thing in, I'll be picking you up right after you and I have been to the ballot station. All right, we'll get
I'll tell you what. Video it, and we can actually have a thing afterwards where we can actually say why we did it, right? And see if any one of the news channels will manage to pick us up and say, right, this is why I had to do this. I'm confined to my home because I've had a leg taken off, and I've had to be taken up by my friends up to the polling station so I can vote using a normal, ordinary polling card.
If you don't get it in, I'll get a grip of somebody. If Mad Monk, the other spanner's not available for me to pick up and come out and get you and take you to the polling station, then
excellent.
Even if we go to wheel you take, David, I'm sure it's not that far away.
It's about maybe 70 or 80 yards.
Right then, as I say, we'll get you there. Okay.
Aye,
One way or another, you're getting your franchise. Right, we need to go. Folks, remember, get out and vote. And if you like me, vote SNP. Eyes on the prize. Bye for now. Bye, Davey.
Bye, Davey. Bye, guys.